is going on, friends? Hipster Punchy here with another video. This is actually going to be my favorite releases of 2020. This is not just Criterion. It's going to stretch across all the boutique labels. I do want to point out this only applies to ones that I have in my possession. So if it's not on the list, I just don't have it yet. So for example, the Varda release would not be on the list because I actually have not purchased that yet. That will probably be a flash sale purchase next month. Number 10 is going to be Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. This is a film that actually, oddly enough, I had seen years ago before I'd even started becoming a cinephile. It was one that was recommended. I was a metalcore guy, but I also liked hip hop. So because of the Wu-Tang involvement, the RZA specifically involvement on the film, and the fact that it's actually was filmed in parts of New Jersey, kind of close to where I live now. So that is something that kind of endeared it. And I didn't realize until later, I'm just a Jim Jarmusch fan. So that would explain why, because I like that movie. I love that movie. And I love everything else from him that I've seen, including The Dead Don't Die. But this one is the first film of his that I had seen. So it's got a special place in my heart due to that. Next up, partially because I have a soft spot for David Lynch films, is going to be the Criterion release of The Elephant Man. This is one great movie, a great follow-up to Eraserhead. And it's also a nice little touch here is the fact that the cover of this release, even though it's a different way the art's done technically, it also, the coloring and the black background makes it almost match perfectly to their release of his first film, Eraserhead. So that's definitely something I would highly recommend as far as purchase from this year. I think there are releases I like better as far as total package of the release, like features and everything, but I do think this is a great release of The Elephant Man. Number 7, and I almost forgot this is a 2020 release. That's how dumpster fiery the last year was. Roma, a fantastic film, great features. The artwork is fantastic, and the movie is brilliant. So that one, it's such a good release that on a school project for a TV production class that was in person for maybe a couple months before we had to go all remote thanks to coronavirus. That one was actually one that I had to produce a segment. I directed a discussion of that film. Next one, another Netflix one, The Irishman. I love Scorsese films. I've mentioned probably a few times that Martin Scorsese films are actually what were my gateway to becoming a cinephile. I went from being just a strictly horror guy to becoming a cinephile because of the works of Martin Scorsese. So hearing him kind of have this last hurrah with two of his greatest past collaborators in Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, along with having Al Pacino in it, which he's never worked with Pacino before. So it was like kind of bringing back the band, sort of, because he also had Thelma Schoonmaker returned that well. And she has this like great chemistry with the works directed by Martin Scorsese. So that's one, it's a really long film. If you guys don't like films that go like upwards of 3 hours, I don't know how you'll feel about this one, but I loved it. And the Netflix features, I know a bunch of them are available on Netflix too, but they're great. They rounded a great package, and I'm very glad there's this collaboration between Netflix and Criterion, because there are some great films that they can release, both that have been released a while ago and are upcoming. So I'm glad that they're collaborating. This is great for both parties. It gives Netflix legitimacy, and it also gives Criterion a great avenue of films that will bridge them to younger film fans. I know Scorsese's been doing it for a while, but the Netflix connection is definitely there. So I know they have a documentary that was produced by the Obamas coming soon. So, there's more coming, is what I'm saying. All right, here's where we start venturing outside of Criterion. The next one is going to be the film right over there, the Akira 4K release, which I love the film Akira. It is, when I had heard it was the top anime, and this is one that I put off seeing because it was called one of the greatest anime films ever. I agree now. After having seen it multiple times, I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment that this is the best anime film. I love the cyberpunk stylings. I think I'm one of the few non-reactionary fans of Cyberpunk 2077. But no, I love the cyberpunk genre in general. I love that. I love the Blade Runner films. Both of them are great. But no, like the 4K transfer on this, which I can kind of watch 4K now because I have Xbox Series X. My TV's not quite there, so once I upgrade my TV, it'll probably look even better. But from what I was able to discern, from what I was able to watch of the 4K scan, it's I'm jealous of anyone with a 4K TV who has this release, is what I'm saying. Because it already looks amazing, and that's with it being automatically downscaled because I don't have a 4K TV. And it's got a treasure trove of features. As you can see, the artwork is great on it too. Simple but effective. So I love that. Next up, and this was my favorite film of 2019, we've got Parasite, which directed by Bong Joon-ho, one of 2 releases of his coming up. The other one was Memories of a Murder, which I've heard is fantastic. It's one of the few that I have not seen, and I've actually been holding off watching it because I'm waiting for the Criterion release to come out before watching it, so I can actually watch it, have a fresh perspective before I do the eventual review of that. But there's a lot of great features. I actually watched them all. I was going to try to do a video of it, then just school got crazy and life got crazy. I'm going to probably still do that review, but it's one I really want to review because I love this movie. And the black and white cut gives it a whole more sinister feel that I'm here for personally. Not to mention the packaging is great. I know some people didn't initially like the cover because they didn't realize that it was going to be a cover where the holes for the Morse code for Parasite were part of the outer case, and then the inner case was actually in the jewel case that's within the box part of it. So I don't think a lot of us were aware of that at the time, but it was a nice surprise. It was kind of made it a very cool cover, and the film is strong. I think it's definitely deserving of being both Best Picture and Best Foreign Film. Sorry, dudes who are mad that Joker didn't win it. But this is definitely one of the top releases of 2020 for me. All right, now we are in the top 3. Number 3 is going to be the Bruce Lee box set by Criterion. And this is a personal thing for me. I love Bruce Lee films. I was excited. I think I did a video of it earlier, or at least something on it earlier this year. Maybe the cartoon, which sadly, I don't think we're getting those anymore, but for good reason. Most of the people watching know why. It's sad losing him, but the artwork is great on this box set. The film selection is fantastic. I did not think Enter the Dragon was going to even be on this thing, but it was. So this is definitely something that I was excited to get when it came out. I got it day one. So I'm ready for this, and I was ready for it. I already have it now. But a great collection of films, loaded with extras. Technically, it's, I believe, a 6-film set, but there's a full-length documentary. There's alternate cuts of movies. So there's a lot in this one. I haven't even scratched the surface of this box set yet. So this is a strong release for a smaller box set. That's a mid-sized box set because it's on the par with the 6-film ones as far as size goes. But there's definitely more than just the 6 films to play around with here. Number 2, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's right above me right here. We have the Shout Factory Friday the 13th release. This set is fantastic. I actually also think this is one of the last videos I've done. It was probably, I think, my last video of 2020. So that's how my year went. And I think it's a great release. It's a very comprehensive release. Has all of the films, which didn't happen that often. It even has the remake and Freddy vs. Jason. For a while, you kind of see split off box sets. You'd see the Paramount releases. Then you'd see the New Line releases get their own separate box sets. And I believe there was another release of it, but it wasn't a great one. So I'm glad they were able to get that done. I'm glad we also got a lot of the deleted scenes as special features. I love the reversible covers that Shout Factory does with their releases. The wraparound art. I got the release version of the box set, so the limited edition version of the box set. I learned my lesson from the Halloween box set on that one. But for personal reasons, again, another film series that's directly tied to my home state. I actually grew up about 20 minutes away from where the original movie filmed. And for some reason, just getting to go there on a Friday the 13th is just never in the cards. But this box set was a very, 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 very great consolation prize to not being able to do that and being able to just go through the films in that box set and the features. That's been a fun thing so far. I'll probably do a series in that eventually, but I've got some that as I said, are backlogged. The top the top Blu-ray release for me is the Fellini box set. This is a more recent one. Not as recent as some of the other ones on this list, but it's still a fairly recent one. And that's going to be the Fellini box set. I love the artwork. I love that it kind of has like the design of like a vinyl box set. I think that's fun. The artwork is great. The film selection on that one is also great. I haven't had a chance to dive through the features yet, but this actually filled in a couple of the out-of-print holes in the Fellini collection. So, I think this definitely deserves the mention as the release of 2020 as far as what I have in my collection presently. Let me know what your favorites were. If you disagree with any of my choices or my rankings here, comment below with that. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll be back, guys. Have a good one.